I hope they put a woman in that seat if Max gets a race ban.
I've seen that move before on Mario Kart.
Obama! Oh, what's Cole Palmer doing there?
Welcome back to Drive Like a Girl, episode 24.
We're back for Barcelona. Did you learn any Spanish?
Sí, por favor.
Sí, por favor.
Yeah, yes, please.
That makes no sense. Not in
I
this
did
context.
learn Spanish, yes, please.
Yes, please. Yes, I did. What's yes, I
please.
did? Come on.
I don't know.
You should know.
I know. I actually get too scared straight away. What is it? See, yes, I did.
Don't put any pressure on yourself. Yes, I did.
See, you're. I don't know what did is.
It's fine.
Do you know what it is?
No.
See, you're.
We just go see. We just say see.
We just.
But don't stress about that. It's fine.
I do. I actually need to. I need to get my Spanish lessons in because I'm supposed to be going to Ecuador at the end of the year, December, and I need to be fluent by then. Fluent.
I think you can do that. Have you ever tried
if you say Duolingo?
No. Comprehensive learning.
What's comprehensive learning?
So it's this Dreaming Spanish YouTube channel, and they teach Spanish, but
while you sleep.
No, so it's not literally dreaming Spanish. It's not that easy.
I was like, what?
No. So it's like comprehensive learning. So you're just watching whilst they talk in Spanish. There's no subtitles. There's nothing. You are just watching them talk to you in Spanish, but they're doing it really, really slowly. So say they're saying this in Spanish, they would do a basic beginner episode to medium, hard, whatever.
Yeah.
And they'll say, oh, hi, this is, and they'll have a sock on their hand. They'll be like, this is sock. And so I know it's like kids, but they'll be saying it in Spanish. They'll be like, hola, calcetín. Okay. And then I didn't know that sock was calcetín. Now I know in my head forever that calcetín is a sock, but I don't even know Spanish that well.
Wow.
But it's they teach it in a way where they talk very slowly, so you don't necessarily get every single thing that they're saying, but you get the gist of their conversation.
Yeah.
And you start to pick things up, but it takes a lot of time. It's an everyday thing, it's hard.
The thing is I just don't know what level I'm at. Not that this is not F1 related, but I don't know what level I am because I get very frustrated when I start too beginner because I'm like, well, I know everything that's going on right now. So then I'm like, but then if I go further up, I'm like, well, I know what they're saying, but I wouldn't remember that's
Dreaming Spanish. I really think you need to look into that.
Dreaming Spanish.
Yes.
Do you think there is a version that I can just play while I sleep?
I don't think so.
No.
Sorry. I wish it was that easy.
Me too.
Because I would love to know Spanish.
Yeah.
But anyway, hola.
Hola.
And it was adios.
Mi amigos.
It was hola and adios very quickly.
For the Barcelona Grand Prix.
Yes. It was, well, what do you think?
I think it was a 10 out of 10 in the last 6 laps.
Yeah, literally.
Before that, I was honestly bored.
Yeah, me too. And you FaceTimed me as soon as
it started
Max
happening.
Basically nearly crashed on purpose into George.
I literally went,
you FaceTimed me straight away and was just like, did you just see that? I said, yes, I did, darling. And at first I was a bit like, that's not okay. But then I kind of was like, it's actually not that deep. Watching it back, it was dangerous.
Yeah.
I get it. He shouldn't have done it. He really shouldn't have.
But
and
you're
he said he hasn't. But then I'm kind of
like,
well, nothing else happened in the race that I was really that happy about.
Yeah.
And then it was little things. It all started to just happen. Hulkenberg overtook Lewis.
Yeah, all of a sudden right at the end.
And then all of this stuff just started happening, and then there was a safety car, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what
is going on.
This is why we sit here for 2 hours for the last 15
We just wait for the
minutes.
last bit. And what's funny about this weekend is there was footballers everywhere, right? And my boyfriend, he's not into Formula 1, and basically he tries to watch it, but he just, I don't
Didn't get
pressure.
into
If
it.
you're not into it, you're not into it. It's fine. I'm not that like a massive, massive fan of football. And anyway, he's a massive Chelsea fan, and basically, it was on the screen. He wasn't paying attention. Kind of was just like, "Blah, blah, blah." And I think he even made a comment like, "Oh, Jess, like I love you, but this is really not it." And I was just like, "Okay, well."
It is.
I said a real word, but anyway, I said F off. And then he went, Cole Palmer on the screen, right? Cole Palmer popped up. And he goes, Cole Palmer! Oh, what's Cole Palmer doing there? And then all of a sudden wanted to know what was going on. And I just thought, wow, you're a traitor. If Cole Palmer's there, you can support. So now I feel like maybe he'll start looking at F1 just because Cole Palmer was at the Barcelona Grand Prix.
I saw Jude Bellingham and I went,
Yeah?
oh, look who it is. And I was going, who's he? Because I recognised him, but I forgot his name.
Jude.
Jude,
I could never forget his name.
Yeah, the sweetie.
Very cute, but isn't he like really young? I don't know. Anyway. Right, so key moments we want to take away from the Barcelona Grand Prix, and we want to talk with you guys because
big winners.
There was a lot, and I want to start with the main subject that we took away from this Grand Prix was the Max situation and the Red Bull situation. So they put him. He ended up on a hard tyre at the end of the race, and was that because they didn't have any more tyre? They had no. So they just had a bad strategy to begin with, basically.
Well, it was,
and it didn't end very well.
Yeah.
So they had to give him a hard tyre. But surely he should have known that. So why was he questioning that? Surely they would have warned him beforehand. By the way, we need to put you on the hard tyres. Like they could have pre-warned him.
Yeah,
before,
he had no
or
idea.
just,
He was like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm very confused about what happened in the strategy because obviously before a race you know the reserve of tyres that you're going to have, and then before the actual race you know the tyres that you used in qualifying.
Isn't that the parts of the plan A, B and C? Like that's their plans, no?
Yeah, and other drivers were going back onto used soft tyres, that they used in qualifying because you've only got a certain number. So, and then other drivers like Nico Hulkenberg was really lucky because he had brand new soft tyres. That's not necessarily lucky, but because he did really badly in qualifying, so he had the tyres to spare. But how did they not, like you said, see that coming or evaluate that? And how were they only left with hard tyres when everybody else was on a completely different strategy?
Yeah.
Like, what you've got in the back there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then it was just a lot of frustration, a lot of build-up from Max. As I think we've seen for weeks. I think we've seen it for weeks, and he's slowly seeing the championship for Red Bull and himself just slip away. And
he said that as well.
Did he?
Yeah, in his post-race interview, they were like, oh, I think he got asked some kind of questions about your chances of a championship, and he was like, he literally just said straight up, like, well, I don't think that's going to happen, or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, there's no chance of
We've
me
still
winning
got
this
a lot of races left, but
if
we look back from last year and even when he still won because he was so far ahead to begin with, and I think even though it was so close not so close, but it was close to Lando, and I really don't think he's anywhere near that, like you said, which is sad, but unfortunately it's going to happen one day. Like it happened to Lewis.
Yeah.
Like unfortunately it just happens.
Well, he could come back again.
Yeah.
He could have a year off. It's all right.
Not a year off.
A year, not off of winning, and then maybe he'll win again. But I think Red Bull, need to rethink because they cannot just rely on one guy to hold up the whole team.
Yeah, well, he is at the minute.
Yeah, I know.
Because Hulkenberg scoring points in Barcelona has scored more points than the second car has in Red Bull for 2025 so far. So Max has really been holding up the team, and it must be pressure, and
Serious
when it's not
pressure.
going your way, frustration, and like we said, he did on purpose try to kind of not crash into Max. He wasn't going to slam right into him, but he did swerve and swerve
Do a
away
little bit,
to make a point of saying F off, basically.
Yeah.
You shouldn't, I shouldn't be giving you the place back. Which, can we just talk about that place back? I don't think he should have given the place back.
And also the FIA have since come out and said
Exactly.
that the team did not need to order
Say
them
that.
So why did they
they?
do that? And also at the time, Nico Rosberg, who was commentating, was like, when the team were on the radio saying you need to give the position back, Nico Rosberg was like, no. And then Max did a little crash, and then he was like, no.
Yeah.
About something completely different. But that was so interesting because I was a bit like confused about why they were saying that. But maybe because last year something similar happened where the team refused to give a place back and they got penalised quite severely.
I was just gonna say.
So they're just like scared.
Yeah.
Weary?
I honestly think the same. I think that they were probably freaked out because they're already, like I was saying, the championship is slipping away. Yeah. Every points are precious, and by doing that, they ended up losing even more points because they just
got frustrated.
Yeah, they pissed him off, and those extra points he could have got, he messed it up, unfortunately. Yeah. So, but because of that, Hulkenberg then finished in P5.
Yeah.
P5 in a Sauber.
I know.
Insane. And his little post-race talk with Ted Kravis was so cute.
And he was just like, oh, it was just luck. And Ted was just like,
that
wasn't luck. That was your pure talent. And he was
his
just
best win since 2019. And I know we've done a history episode on Hulkenberg, and this would be a great time for our viewers to go back and watch that, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Link below.
Yeah, link below. But he has never won a podium. Like, he's never finished P1 in any single race. He holds that record, like, surely he holds that record, because that's insane. How could you have been in F1 for that long and never ever won a race? He's been close.
I reckon there are quite a few drivers, that have never been on podium.
But to still be in F1, like, I understand if it's like they were only there for like a year or two or whatever, but Hulkenberg, he's been there for a long time. I think it's just luck of the draw with what car you get, and unfortunately he is in a Sauber, and I think his techniques and his skills just gets overlooked because of the car he's in. It's sad, because these drivers, they made it to F1. They clearly have the skills to be there. Otherwise they would not be there. It just, there unfortunately has to be a car that's at the bottom of the grid, and it's unfortunately a Sauber.
It's really interesting though, because the Sauber's got a new upgrade this weekend for qualifying, but then Nico didn't do very great in qualifying, and he was saying how he was upset by that because he really thought that this new upgrade would give him a chance because it was improving the Sauber's pace, and we ended up obviously seeing that in the race. So it's interesting how these cars can, what are they doing to these cars to give them a bit more, so they're, because I wouldn't say kick Sauber's at the bottom of the grid, but I guess they are at the moment, because in my head at the bottom of the grid is Haas. But Haas isn't.
It's not, yeah.
Haas and Williams, but they're not this year.
Yeah, no.
So who's at the bottom of the grid this year? Alpine and Kick Sauber.
Yeah.
Mental.
But I'd say Kick Sauber is
the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Mental.
So insane win for them. So happy that and it's so nice to actually, I don't know, it was so refreshing to see him on TV
smiling.
But just I don't know, after the race, when you watch the post-race interviews, they don't really show
everyone.
They're not going to show everyone, are they? They're only going to show the people where it's going to be interesting. So when I just saw him on TV, I was like, oh, that's so nice to see. And I came in and I was like, he's on TV. And Kieran's like, who? Okay, how does that matter? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. He is here, he's on TV, he's being interviewed, and he looks so happy.
Yeah, really cute.
But talking of Red Bull and everyone as well, Yuki, I'm just worried.
You worried he's gonna get Liam Lawsoned again?
I think surely they can't do it again. And there isn't any talks of it happening. I think it's again very still early to even be talking about getting rid of him, and I don't think
would we say
he's
doing better than Liam? Maybe.
Well,
I mean, I
Liam's
feel
now
like Liam
doing
got
better
2
than
races.
him.
Yeah, but no, but in the Red Bull.
Yeah, I don't. I think I'm not quite sure about the statistics on that, but obviously he qualified P20, and kind of Max was trying to defend him and saying like, you know, he's not stupid. He knows what he's doing. It's just like, so Max knows as well these drivers are good, and we've seen how good they are. It's just like we keep saying, it's a second car, but they seriously cannot.
The curse.
No other team has that issue though.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's always
a number 1
a
or
gap.
number 2.
Yeah, there's always a number 1 and a number 2.
Except for
but
McLaren.
yeah, but never that much where it's that noticeable to the point where everyone's talking about it.
Yeah,
You know?
when you're a top team like Red Bull, your drivers should not be that far away from each other on the grid. Like,
qualifying P20
yeah.
in a Red Bull, like, you might as well have DNF'd. Like, I don't get that. And
Literally.
I'm not saying it's Yuki's fault at all. I blame the team and the car 100%.
Yeah, well, what's the common denominator here, guys?
Exactly. We've literally seen it.
We have seen it. What did you think of Lando's cool down room commentary? Were we still on FaceTime when he said that? When Lando was like, was just like, oh, I've seen that move before on Mario Kart.
Yes,
and
he
then
was feeling.
everyone was pulling him up on this in the post-race interviews and all the journalists, and he was just like, oh, you heard that, did you?
Yeah.
And he was like refusing to talk about it, really. And I was like, I don't think there's anything wrong with that comment. I think it's funny.
No, I don't. I think it's funny, and I think if Max was in that situation, he would say that.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's just their banter. And he was very cheeky after the race.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
with
very
George,
cheeky.
did you see his...
Yeah.
I was like, what are you doing?
He was basically saying, like, oh, was that... did you try and crash into Max? Yeah, like trying to wind him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cheeky in his post-race interview. I think he's obviously feeling a lot better. I know he was a bit sad for a bit.
I would
so
have
it's
hated
good to see.
be that. No, but I would have hated to be that journalist interviewing
I
Lando.
could never be a journalist.
Because she was literally like, you know, just trying her absolute darndest.
They just try to do their jobs.
And he was just like, he fully ignored her. Like, and it's like she asked a question about the
yes.
Mario Kart, and he just went. So I had a really good
Yes.
race, and I was like.
I
you
forgot about
didn't.
that.
And Max does the same, you know, and he's just like, I don't want to talk about the race. And she, or he's like, I'd rather talk about the race.
Yeah.
When she asked him about that crash, and it was like, well, that's kind of the race, honey.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
yeah.
And then they just go off. They just ignore them.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, if I was that interviewer, I would just be like crushed to my soul. And Lando's just smiling away like he knows what the fuck he's doing. But I'm like.
Do you know what's funny as well? Like, if that was my job, like, I cry a lot at work because I'm a bit of a wuss.
No.
Like, I'm a bit of a wuss,
I'm
you know.
emotional.
You know, when, you know, I get told off, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And I know she's not being told off, but that's like your boss basically
Well, it's like
giving you
the major talent saying, you're shit.
Yeah, like, don't ask me that, basically. Like, I would cry. I could not do it. I could not do it.
I would cry too. No, but I do that. If I have to have, like, a serious conversation on the phone to, like, my Wi-Fi person, I cry, you know?
Yeah.
If I have to talk seriously, I feel very emotional
about it. It's stressful.
It is stressful.
And let's just take a moment for these people. Like, they come with these questions. The confidence to even talk to them like they're just a regular person is just a talent in itself. Like, I could not just... Imagine walking up to someone who is so famous on, like, a red carpet and just, like...
And having to talk back
to them
Max. Like, when Max is like, I don't think that's part of the race.
Yeah.
And she's just like, well,
and she deals with it so well.
Impressive.
Slay.
Impressive. Such a slay.
But anyway, Lewis.
Oh, Lewis.
And Ferrari. He, again, as we talked about in the last episode,
miserable.
He's not feeling it. And that's okay. Look, there's still time. There's still time. There's still time.
Yeah.
We have to hope.
We have to
and pray.
keep.
We have to keep positive for him.
Our mantra.
Yeah, we have to keep positive for him. I think I saw a clip of him after the race with some tears
Oh no!
under his helmet, wiping it
no.
away.
I saw he kept
Could
his
have been
helmet on for a
sweat.
while.
Could have been sweat because let's remember that was
They're
a hot
losing
race.
a lot of weight.
That was a
in
very
there.
hot race. So it could have been sweat, or it could have been clickbait, and it could have been from a couple races ago. Not too sure. But so they had new wing updates for the first time in this race. So they now have clapped down on the flexi wing from 15 millimeters to be 10 millimeters.
Mm-hmm.
So Ferrari obviously changed this, and
and they've done this so that the teams don't like abuse that for the aerodynamics and make them go faster, right?
Yeah, basically. And Ferrari, I think Lewis was maybe it was like, oh, maybe this might help. They put loads of money into it, and he basically said after the race that money should have just gone to charity because it's just not helped them.
A massive waste.
Yeah, it's just a massive waste. But I'm kind of like, I don't get that because
But is
you need to do that anyway.
Yeah. You're gonna need to. You have to spend the money. But is he, like me just thinking now? Is he saying that more on the fact of okay, it didn't help, but also like, is he just saying it didn't make any difference? Like that rule is dumb. What a waste of money.
Probably both.
Yeah.
Probably both. Because he's probably just like, what's the point? Like, nothing's going to change.
Between
like,
5 to
he's
10
clearly obviously feeling
millimeters.
very... Yeah, and they're spending so much money. He could be meaning both, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think he's just genuinely annoyed, upset, not positive at all.
But he looks so good in red.
He does. Do you know what he does? He actually does. But I don't know what else I'm meant to say of that. Like, we spoke about it more in the last race, and I don't have, like, I just feel bad for him. Like, it's such a shame that he made this massive move and it's just not working out, and he's saying maybe it's me. Like, he is starting to say, you know, maybe it is me.
Maybe I'm getting old.
And I think, again, like Max, in a different way of like his 8th championship, maybe it's starting to really hit him, because maybe Ferrari was like the last kind of push for him,
big hurrah,
to say I can do it. Yeah, the dream of the 8th championship, that's his ultimate goal now, as I would assume.
Yeah.
And I think he done this move to Ferrari because he really thought, you know, this could happen for me at Ferrari, and because it's not, and he's getting older, he hasn't got all these extra years coming up where he can get that 8th. I think he's really starting to maybe think that it might never happen, and maybe this is the first time where it's actually hit him where it's like,
it's become real.
maybe I can't do it.
Yeah, because really, like, before he was able to blame it on Mercedes and blame something else, you know, but now, and that would have been really, you know, that's what everybody hoped, you know, he just can't, they did big changes at Mercedes, the car went to shit, and he can't drive that car anymore, and that was what he was hoping. Let's go to a different team, let's make it the team, the pinnacle of F1 Ferrari.
Yeah.
And let's hope that I can drive that car. He's not doing awful, but he's not doing great. And, you know, like, Charles is doing pretty well. I mean, Charles is doing Charles.
Yes, but Charles has been there for a very long time,
yeah.
and so he knows the cars a lot well. But he did even say that he found the new update a bit difficult to drive. So he, you know,
still did well though. Podium for Charles, first
Yes.
podium, in Spain. So
was it?
yeah, and he's like driven there 8 times, and that's his first podium in Spain.
Oh, I love that for him.
Yeah, big one. So yeah, so we win and lose in Ferrari every single week.
Yeah, it's sad.
Aww.
But moving on, another point. Lance Stroll
Didn't drive.
so
And
we
they
only saw
didn't
19
replace
drivers.
him.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
I
What?
know,
I
I
kept going
know.
to Dom. I was like, so who's driving instead? And he
No
was like,
one.
No one.
Like, literally no one. And he was setting it away because of his wrist.
Right.
He it was playing up in qualifying, so he will probably need, and just had lots of pain, so he couldn't drive. But why wouldn't they have a replacement?
Aston Martin F1 driver Lance Stroll was a late withdrawal from the Spanish Grand Prix, complaining of a pain in the hand and wrist, after effects of a medical procedure he underwent after a cycling accident on the eve of the 2023 season. But the timing of the decision meant it was too late to slot a replacement.
That's a load of rubbish.
But
obviously,
don't they
that's
normally have
true,
like replacement drivers like sat there, like ready to go?
Yeah.
We don't know where we just finished off. We think we were talking about Lance Stroll, but we ran out of storage. But we're back.
We are.
And if you want to see the chaos of the behind the scenes that goes on about filming our podcast, head to our TikTok, Drive Like a Girl, because we're filming behind the scenes. Oh, I should have filmed that. We're filming the behind the scenes. Here we go. And this is us filming the behind the scenes. There you go.
Okay.
So check us out on TikTok.
You should. It's really fun.
So Lance Stroll.
There's not much to say.
There's not much else to say. But yeah, weird one. I was very confused.
Yes, me too. And it was Carlos and Alonso's home race this time round.
Yeah, one did really well. Alonso finally got in the points.
Yeah.
And one did really bad. Carlos didn't. Which was the first time in like 11 starts, I think, that he didn't finish in the points or something.
Yeah. Maybe I jinxed it with Williams. Look.
What do you mean?
Because I did a TikTok trend where, it was that sound where it's like, like 6 syllables or something like rubbish. I only did like 4, and then I saw a video like, it's 6 syllables. I was like, and I said Williams will win. No, Williams will get a podium. Or Williams will get a podium, or something like that. Williams will get a podium. Williams will get a podium, right?
Okay.
And ever since I've done that,
they've been losing.
It's not been so good.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know.
You've
so
actually
I think I've been like, I don't know. Look, this may not be the same, but when I was at uni, I really wanted to support a foot. So going off track here, but it will make sense. So at uni, I was like, I'm just going to start supporting a football team, and basically, I watched a Liverpool versus Southampton game, and Southampton beat Liverpool, and their
they were
manager at the time cried, and I was like, that's it, I'm supporting Southampton. So I went through like all the names of the team, like all their little history. I went to uni with a guy who was a Southampton fan, so it was like great, had this all insider knowledge. Watched the second match. So they lost 9-0, and I was like,
that's my fault.
Okay. So I've started supporting this team, and look, I'm not a glory hunter, but that was a bit crazy. So then every match they just kept losing. Then they got demoted from the Premier League, and then I just don't follow them anymore. So I'm like, is it me? Because now I'm supporting Williams. They're like, not that I've just started.
No, you've been doing this since the start of the season.
Yeah, it's been the start of the season, but still, I put it into existence, and now look.
No. Let's be optimistic. I think you're a great Williams fan, and they love to have you.
They don't know I exist.
No, but they appreciate you even still. I bet Alex Albon would love to have you as a fan.
That's great. But look, I'm not gonna let it stop me from being a fan. I'm not gonna let that happen.
Next year she'll be back on McLaren.
No. I like to support the underdogs now.
Yeah. Nice.
Anything else you wanted to add about the race?
I don't think so. I had a few numbers from the race. So Piastri had the largest pole margin of the season so far.
What does that mean?
So the longest time ahead in first place, which I was like, wasn't there like a time, but maybe that was last year when Max was like ahead for like 20 seconds.
What is this just for this year?
For this season, yeah. So it's 0.209 seconds for the largest margin. And he outqualified Norris now for the 5th time this season. He's now the 3rd McLaren driver to score 8 straight podiums, joining Ayrton Senna and Lewis Hamilton.
Wow.
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, that's kind of big.
That's like, wow.
Yeah. Big names up there.
Yeah, that is big
We're
names.
going to be saying Oscar Piastri.
Yeah. Oh, when we're like on our deathbed. Oscar Piastri was the man.
I'm sorry. I hope I'm not on my deathbed talking about Oscar Piastri. And now there are only 10 points in the championship between Oscar and Lando.
It's growing.
It is growing. I mean, last week we were at 3. So that little bit, but all still anything can happen.
It's still all to play for, guys.
Still all to play for. That's the right word. You mentioned this before, but Max has now got 11 points on his super license.
I didn't mention it on the podcast though.
Well, so once he gets 12,
I did mention it on my TikTok if you wanted to go watch it.
Watch our TikTok. Once he gets 12 points on his super license, that equals a race ban. So if Max does get 12 points and he has to do a race ban, who's gonna drive?
Daniel Ricciardo.
Oh, I had a feeling you were gonna say that. I literally knew you were gonna say that.
I was gonna say that.
I knew you were gonna say that. I
looked at him today.
What's he doing? Still promoting his rosé?
Well, no, I looked at him as in he's on my desk at work.
Oh right, yeah.
Like as a card, and I see his beautiful little face. And I did think of him today, and I saw a TikTok of him the other day, and he's still there.
He's still
there. I still think of him.
There was some advert recently, like a Formula 1 advert or something, and it had Daniel Ricciardo in it.
No, but we don't know.
Well, it was his
It was sponsors for Doritos, but everyone knows. Yeah, it was Doritos advert, but it was like
F1.
Yeah, and everyone knows that side profile. Everyone. I did see that. But I was like, oh,
what are they doing? They must have filmed it like last year, maybe.
Or maybe they're just like, do you want to be in it? Or they just made it in AI to look like him because they know.
They know what we're all going to do.
They know what we think. They know us too well.
And now, you know what? Now I want Doritos.
Me too.
So
that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing.
But no, who do you think? I don't know. Let's be serious for now.
Surely
it obviously
they
would not be Daniel Ricciardo, but I think they'd do Isaac Hadjar.
Yeah, probably.
They would be like,
embarrassing to have Lawson.
Go on. You're doing well in the RB. Just have a go. Let's just see. This is like a good time for us to see. And I don't want that to happen.
No, because
I actually don't. They did it to Yuki. They've done it to Liam. I'm not letting it happen anymore. Do not take any of these guys and ruin their lives.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Please.
And I hope, Isaac Hadjar's giving smart. He's giving... Not that Yuki and Liam aren't. I'm not saying that. Everyone would jump at the opportunity that they have been given. But I just hope, now it's been 2 people this season gone through that second RBC, I really hope that if they did say... come up to us, I really hope he'd think twice about it and really think maybe it is just like, RB's doing better, sorry.
Yeah, they are. But also, at this point, it's like, if they came up and asked him, you can't really say no. Not even because anyone would jump at that opportunity, but like, what if they'd turn around and you said no, they'd be like, oh, right, we're never giving you this opportunity again, or you've got to do what we want, really. You're kind of under our thumb.
Would they say, well, you'll never... But then...
I mean, never say never.
It's a tough one.
You don't know.
It's a tough one, but I really hope they don't. But I think if they were to pick anyone, it could potentially be Isaac. Give him a little see what he's saying in that car. Who would you think?
I was thinking... I thought maybe Lawson, but that would probably be too embarrassing. They probably wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah.
But maybe they'd just pick a random like Red Bull Academy driver, give him a chance.
What if they picked a woman?
That would be stunning. When is the F1 Academy thing come out? I haven't started it. Have
Wednesday.
you started it? Oh,
it's nearly been a week.
What, last week?
Yes.
Did you start it?
I haven't started it, no.
All right. You were talking as if I was silly.
Yeah, no, I know. I haven't started it either. I haven't had time.
No, I haven't had time.
But I will be... I want because I haven't had many free weekends, but I want to properly sit down and binge
it. Yeah, me too.
And I hope they put a woman in that seat if Max gets a race ban.
That would be iconic. That would be iconic.
Just to test the water. Look, what have Red Bull got to lose at this point? Not much.
Not much.
So you might as well just be like, well, see what happens.
Yeah.
Throw a woman in there.
Yeah.
Why not?
What happens if he gets the 12 points on his super license and he does one race ban? Does it then start again if he gets another 12 points?
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
Maybe. Right, should we move on? You came up with a game.
I did. I'm probably someone's already done this, but we've not done it. So we've both been given 10 drivers each.
Yes.
For the 2025
Season.
And we are going to tell each other what we think. We haven't told each other, so we don't know. But we are going to say what their job would be if they were not an F1 driver, okay? So we're going to go one on one.
Yeah.
And we can tell each other.
Yeah.
Okay. But tell me who first, what drivers have you got?
I've got Oscar, Max, Liam, Gabrielle, Ocon, Alonso, Kimi, Lewis, Ollie and Hajar. Okay. You know what these names are really giving? Odd.
Yeah.
Like odd numbers, you know, like the vibes. These don't feel like, and you read out yours.
Okay. Hulkenberg, Lando, Lance, Yuki, Gasly, Charles, Carlos, George, Alex, Franco.
Yeah.
They're giving a bit more
even numbers.
Yeah, it's because they haven't got a lot of like eyes.
Is it? Is that why?
Yeah, just from when I'm looking at their names physically written down on a piece of paper, I actually see what you mean.
I feel like Lewis is an even one. Lewis is even.
Yeah.
Not odd.
Yeah.
But everybody else on here feels like an odd number.
I know what you mean. Yeah, you've got J. Yeah, I see it.
Crazy. Anyway, okay.
Right, you go first.
Okay. Okay, so first on my list is Oscar, our race winner. I said if he wasn't a Formula 1 driver, he's from Australia.
Yeah.
Right. So I was thinking if he wasn't doing F1, I can really imagine him doing like tours, like in his little like uniform, like in a zoo.
Okay.
And he's like, "Hi guys, come look at my crocodile."
Okay. He's giving like, what's his name? Who's actually does that? Steve.
Robert Irwin.
Yeah.
But not as enthusiastic. He's not like, because he's a bit chill.
Because he's chill.
So he actually just does like the tours every hour on the hour. Right. And he's like, "Hi guys."
And he like holds a snake with like no issue. He's like, it's just biting his neck, and he's like, "So this is a snake."
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I can see him in like a brown cord.
I do, yeah.
Like suit little thing, and he's just really like sweet, but he's not like super enthusiastic, but he's just there and he's like giving his tours. That's what I can really imagine him doing.
Yeah, I like that. I see it. And I agree.
Yay.
I've got Hulkenberg.
Yeah.
Nico Hulkenberg, you know, P5 champ in Sauber right now.
Chill.
And if you're just looking at him, I see an estate agent.
I've got an estate agent on my list. Yeah, I'm not going to tell you.
Okay, don't. But that's funny.
Yeah.
So I see him. He would like show me around a really nice apartment in like, I don't know, Monaco, let's say. And he's got this lovely beaming smile, and he's like, "So through here is this and this." I just really see it.
Yeah.
I really see it.
Oh,
yeah.
Cute. Nice.
Thanks.
Okay. Next, I've got Max. Now, this really took me ages to think about because, like, I don't know.
You can't picture anything else.
I just can't picture him doing literally anything else. I've got Max and Lewis, and both of them were so hard. But I ended up putting... like he'd probably work in something like Curry's PC World, or like selling fridges.
Yeah. Electronics.
Yeah.
He would sell me my TV. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, I see it.
In the purple polo.
Yeah, Curry's PC. Okay. Right. I now have Lando. Now, I wasn't sure on this one. The first thing I thought of was a YouTuber, but I kind of was like, well, he already is.
Yeah.
Technically, like, apart from F1, he is. So I would have said a footballer.
Oh yeah,
He's
I can
giving.
see that
He is giving the look of a footballer. 100%. 100%. So that was my reasoning for that. Just his looks.
Oh. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I totally see that. You know what? I should have said for Max, a streamer.
Yeah, but he basically
He does.
is.
He is that. So it
Because this
doesn't
is.
count.
Yeah, I did think about a few others, and I was like, but they kind
They
of
do
already
that.
do dabble
Yeah.
in that, you know.
Okay, I've got Liam next. Liam Lawson.
Yes.
Now I nearly said Love Islander. Australia.
I see it. No, I do see that. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but then I was like, you're gonna be like, it's just because you think he's fit and he's not fit, blah blah blah.
No, I don't judge.
I nearly put Love Islander, but I didn't in the end.
Oh, okay.
I actually put very close second, Recruitment.
Yeah. Recruitment, bro.
He is
100%.
such a recruitment bro.
He definitely is. No, he definitely is. Yeah. I see that. I have Lance next.
Oh, okay.
This was easy.
Oh, right.
Entrepreneur.
Oh, yeah. Works for Daddy.
100%. Like, I know all of their parents are kind of well off, but I don't know. I feel like he's just meant to be an entrepreneur. He's meant to own many multi-million-pound businesses. Like, he's made
meant
for that
to be
life.
Successful.
He's made for it.
Yeah.
So that was my reasoning.
Oh, that's easy. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got Gabrielle next, and this one. So I've got a few rookies on my list. Quite a few rookies. No, it's all right. And they're all young, so I was like, I wasn't really thinking in the future. I was thinking right now.
Yeah.
So for Gabrielle, I can really imagine him right now probably doing like work experience in his like dad or uncle's office. So he's basically just making teas and coffees in like a suit that's too big for him in his dad or uncle's office.
I see
That's
it.
in my head.
Yeah.
Don't know what the
get
office
that.
does. It's a bit ambiguous. Maybe he doesn't even know.
I'm thinking maybe like construction.
Yeah.
But like in the office.
Yeah, admin. Yeah.
Admin in the office, but like
HQN.
construction.
Nice.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. My next one was Yuki. And look, this came out of nowhere. And I don't know why. But, diversity. I see him being in diversity.
In diversity, no.
And if you don't know what diversity is, they won Britain's Got Talent a while back when we were little kiddos.
Yeah.
And they're a dance group.
Yeah.
So they do like really cool, but they're spot on with it. Like I can just see him
amazing.
being in that team.
I really cannot.
What? You don't?
Yuki?
Yeah.
I think he's got 2 left feet, mate. You think
No,
he can dance?
I just think in my head he could just like, I don't know, that little one with the frizzy hair that
He's
used to
not
like
little
run out and do
anymore.
like
Yeah.
we're not little
Perry.
anymore. Yeah, like he would be that guy. Like he would just jump out at the end, do a backflip, and just go like this. I just see it for Yuki, and like everyone would just love him.
Yeah,
He'd be like,
we
oh, he's so
would.
cute, and like, oh, and that would be the golden buzzer.
Yeah, okay.
He would be the golden buzzer that
So
they, Britain's
cute.
Got Talent.
So cute.
So yeah,
I
that
love
was
that.
that was mine.
Iconic. I'm going to have that visual in my head now for ages. Okay, Ocon. Now that you said Lando is a footballer, I feel like Ocon could also be a footballer, but what I actually put was...
Yeah, he could
couldn't
actually.
I put car salesman.
Yeah.
He's like failed as an F1 driver. I really
Yeah.
wanted to be an F1 driver, but he's now a car salesman. He's quite tall, skinny. I can just imagine him like trying to sell me this car.
Yeah, I see it.
There you go.
I agree. My next one was Gasly. So I put tennis coach, but
Oh,
I think to
yeah.
be honest, he could be a PE teacher.
So accurate.
Yeah.
So accurate, yeah.
And I don't have much to say on that.
No, that is correct.
Yeah.
I've got Alonso next, and I was like, Alonso is one of the ones on my list that I was like, just would be successful. Like, I can't see him not, like, he's very good looking for, the women fawn over him probably. Silver Fox, I imagine.
Yeah.
So I think he just would be successful. And with that in mind, I was like, I can just see his face being everywhere. So I think he would be a successful estate agent in
Oh, it
Spain
was.
with like
I see
billboards
it.
everywhere. You
Yeah,
know,
I
and he's
see it.
smiling. He's like,
His
I can buy you your
competitor is
house.
Hulkenberg.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, they would be on selling
Selling
sunsets,
sunset.
but for like selling
Europe.
Monaco. Yeah, and there'd be like rivalries. I see it. Okay.
But like Hulkenberg is like the nice guy. He's like real. He's like got the office in the like
Yeah.
little rundown build. Not rundown, but you know, he's a bit more
You
like
want
money
him to be your
conscious.
boss.
Whereas Alonso's the guy. He's like
You'd
good
be
looking,
scared.
splashes out. He's
But
like
you'll be
comes, walks
scared.
over in a suit. Yeah.
I see it. I see it. Okay, cool. I've got Charles.
Nice. Oh.
Struggled with this one, but I thought retail assistant, but luxury.
Okay.
Because, you know, he grew up in Monaco, and I see him, you know, he loves the luxury vibe around Monaco, but because he wasn't an F1 driver, he couldn't necessarily get there. So it was more, okay, I'm going to work in Gucci.
Okay.
And he's going to sell you, you know, he's going to get the women spending a lot of money on those luxury.
Yeah, because he's cute and they'll all buy
They'll
it.
just be like, he'll bring in the thousands and thousands of clothes and shoes, and I'll say, yeah, I'll take it just for you, Charles.
I like it.
Yeah, thanks.
I've got Kimmy, and I just put working in a supermarket. Like he's trying to make money
He's
to go to
literally like
uni.
baby, yeah.
He's in sixth form. Like
Yeah.
he needs to work down
What
at Tesco's,
supermarket?
mate.
Spar. That's like the only European one I know.
Yeah, I don't know many European supermarkets. But yeah, that vibe. Don't know.
I see
Tesco
it.
vibe.
Now, my next one's Carlos. I really didn't know. I really couldn't think. But for some reason, because he's really good looking, and you know he's Spanish. I see him. If he could, and I'm not saying he can, but I'm just saying I see him going on Eurovision and singing. And I know he can't. I know he can't sing.
Going on Eurovision.
But I just see him being like a singer, but like sexy for the women. Like he's like smooth operator, and they're like a Justin Timberlake of like Spain or something.
Oh my god! I don't know about Eurovision, but
like he would start off in Eurovision, you know.
Yeah.
Because he would do like a slow song. Like he's not like a pop. He's like a
ballad.
I look into your eyes, and like, you know, he's like.
I would
feeling
watch.
It.
I would love
me
that.
too. Me too. Or a stripper. But but we're not going to go down that route. We're going to be professional and say singer.
Switching it right up. Next on my list is Lewis. Now, I really, really struggled because I was like, Lewis was one of the ones, like Alonso, I was like, Lewis is bound to still be successful. But I kept thinking about it and I was just like, but he's only successful because of F1. So, like, and I was just like, I was thinking he's like a model, but would he be a model if he wasn't an F1? I don't know. But then I was like, but Sammy, realistically, he's all these things because he's an F1 driver.
Yeah.
So I can't just give him these jobs that he does kind of already do, like you said. So then I was like, maybe he'll be something in, like, also like tech, IT consultant, or like a hacker of some kind. I don't know.
So
Mega
what is your
techie.
answer?
I put
Tech.
like IT guy.
Do you know what? I don't agree with you.
don't
I've
think
agreed
so?
on every single one.
You don't
I've
think
agreed on every
he
single
could be
one.
an IT guy, no?
Tube driver.
Tube driver.
I'm just thinking, like, I don't see him in an office. I see him still doing like an active job. What's like an active job? Like, I don't know, car mechanic, or like working in a garage, or like tube driver, or something where he's actually like walking around. I don't see him stuck at an office desk. It's a hard one. It's a hard one.
He's really clever. That's why I was like, you know, IT.
Yeah.
You know, I thought, or like, yeah, some form of like cyber security situation.
Potential.
Or doctor.
Is he that smart?
I don't know.
Maybe he could be a doctor. Wouldn't put him past him. Maybe. Anyway, right.
Okay.
I have George next, and George for me is a finance bro, and I know we've kind of got the same from Liam Lawson, but I hunt at being like I'm like recruitment, but I genuinely see this guy in finance, and his girlfriend right now, she like really high up in finance. She's like got a really good job. And I see him, like, they could have 100% met there.
Yeah.
Their paths would have crossed.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see that. Defo.
Okay, next.
Ollie Behrman. He's also really young. I put him working in a petrol station.
Yeah. Makes sense.
He wants to see the cars, you know?
Yeah. So my next one is Alex, and I put TikToker, and I know he already is obsessed with TikTok and everyone knows, so I think that's kind of a given. But I think if he was to do like a job on the side,
So cute.
I know, if it was like a job on the side, it would be in the city, and it would be, I'm not 100% sure, but it would be like a job in the city, and then he got famous on TikTok on the side.
He's like one of the street photographers.
Yeah, and now he just like
does
TikTok now because he blew up. That's what I think.
Cute. Yeah, I can see that. My last one is Hajar.
Yes.
Also young, but you know, the others I put supermarket, working experience, petrol station. Isaac, I can see his part-time job is like working at a laser tag place.
Yeah.
Something with like kids and like an activity where he's got to like kind of like do like a tour demonstration. He's got to be enthusiastic and happy, but he's kind of like drained and dead behind the eyes because of it. But you know,
I get it.
Laser tag.
I see it. Okay.
I also put Crystal Maze, similar vibes.
Okay. I do see that, yeah. And I think I kind of went with a similar ending vibe as well with Franco.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I put an activity instructor. But, like, I was seeing more outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like segways, rock climbing.
That is such a similar vibe. Mine's indoor and maybe they work at the same, like, holiday
yours is in
centre.
the inside. Yeah.
Defo.
Their paths would have crossed as well.
Wow, as if we did that.
Yeah. I think that was quite fun to think
was
about them in a different way. But I think a lot of them, I think our viewers would have better suggestions.
Yeah.
So if you think of better ones, please let us know.
Yeah.
But that was kind of my quick, like, if I was just look at them and not really think about it too much, just of what they look like, what comes to mind
just
straight
like
away.
What their vibes, or it's just what we know of them.
Yeah.
So what's the next race?
So the next race is in Canada.
Oh.
13th to the 15th of June. So we've got a weekend off.
Ooh.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? I've literally got nothing to do this Sunday.
I know. I'm going to be missing it.
It's always the way. Why am I busy? And when I'm not busy, it's not on.
It's not on. I know. But that's the end of the triple header, guys, and I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. And I'm so glad you guys came along with us for these last 3 back-to-back episodes. It's been great.
It's been great. Thanks, Jess.
And thank you, Sammy. Okay, well, like, subscribe, comment.
Yes.
Down below. We need
Follow
the
us on
engagement.
TikTok,
We love it. We're
Instagram.
posting. We're here. We're there. We're everywhere. We love the support.
Yay.
Thanks,
Love you guys.
Love you. See you in Canada.